hierarchy of power in the DC universe is about to change. And it only took 15 years to get here.
It's been about to change. It's always constantly about to change. Yeah.
They had to look at other things to figure out how to change, like 3 Batmen.
2 Spider-Man franchises.
Since Christian Bale to Ben Affleck to now Robert Pattinson, the hierarchy of power in the DC universe has been changing constantly.
We're about to watch the very first official trailer for Black Adam, literally without exaggeration, in the making since 2007, if not longer than that. The very first video we ever made on YouTube, we talked about The Rock playing this character.
I'm stoked about Shazam.
I'm excited too.
I love
I think
Shazam.
it's good.
We talked about potential actors. What do you want to see?
Well, we were talking about it earlier. We were talking about maybe having The Rock in there somehow as either Black Adam or having him in there as Captain Marvel himself.
It's actually kind of crazy that it's taken this long to get to this point. But I'm looking forward to seeing what this is all about. We stay hungry. We devour all this talk about power and hunger and The Rock thirsty and hungry and sweaty and big and enormous. So I guess we'll see what this is all about. We're kind of ready to just jump in, honestly. We waited long enough for this trailer.
Waiting 15 years for this trailer. So let's just jump into it, boys.
All right, here we go.
Black Adam.
Condon spaceship.
What have your powers ever given to you? Nothing but heartache.
Hello. Yes.
Okay.
I was a slave
Silver
until
Fox.
I died. Then I was reborn a god. My son sacrificed his life to save me. Open fire! Now, I kneel before no one. In this world, they're heroes.
Oh yeah.
Ah, okay.
Dr. Fate, let's go.
Oh, so they're gonna, okay.
Heroes don't kill people. Well, I do.
Oh.
Jesus.
Okay.
My vision has shown me the future. You have 2 choices. You can be the destroyer of this world.
Wow.
Or you can be its savior.
I hope he's the destroyer.
Behind you. Whoa.
Nice. Okay. That was pretty rad.
Oh, now he's gonna be Sans Cape, and he's gonna be pissed.
Yeah, he's gonna be buff.
I like this trailer music. Good choice. Good choice with the Jay-Z.
Good
All
lyric
black
choice.
everything.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's the Jay-Z. Okay.
You know what's funny is that I think that if you didn't know anything about this character, but like just watch the Shazam movie, that it does feel like a sequel to Shazam. It does feel like it fits in that world because it has kind of like a cartoony or stylized sense of action. Even though the character is moving around like Superman, he feels more like he looks visually a little bit more like a serious take on the Shazam power set and visual style that we saw. What I'm saying is this doesn't feel like this fits in the world of Man of Steel. It doesn't feel like it fits in that world. It does feel like it fits in the Shazam world because it has a little bit of a cheeky sense of humor. Like when he killed that guy and he flew up into the sky like Team Rocket, like it feels like it's probably going to be more fun than a rated R sort of dour, like, you know, well, what if the superpowered individual was really evil? It's like we've seen it 1,000 times, and this feels more like it's fun, almost, dare I say, family friendly. Like I think a lot of young audiences might really dig this character. He'll still be menacing and threatening and scary, especially when, I mean, just knowing the Black Adam character from the comic books, but I just liked it, the style of that trailer, the music, the energy, the lines that we got to hear and see, the introduction of or the inclusion of the Justice Society. Yeah, it feels more like a Shazam movie, which I'm like stoked about. I really want to now. I really, really, really want to see Shazam and Black Adam face off in Shazam 3 or whatever.
Yeah,
I would say that
they're introducing a bunch of characters too. Sorry, go ahead, Adam.
I was just gonna say I would actually say that the look of it, like the visual aesthetic, it actually does kind of remind me of Man of Steel and Aquaman. Like if you took both of those and put them together, it's got a little bit of that. And I would say that the tone in terms of like the dialogue and the story, it also feels like a mixture of kind of Aquaman, but then a lot of Shazam, like you're saying. It's got a little bit more of that lightheartedness to it, but it still has the action. It still has sort of like that strong like rhythm and stuff. I am liking that so far from what we've seen. You know, like we saw some stuff at DC Fandom. This is the first trailer that we're seeing. We're getting a good sense of kind of like what the movie is aiming for. And I'm honestly just excited to see that some of these Justice Society characters are being included, particularly Hawkman. And that it's Aldous Hodge. Aldous Hodge is a great actor, and Hawkman is such a cool character. I'm curious, to find out more about what version of Hawkman they're using and what the backstory is. But also bigger picture stuff. Regardless of how like consistent the DCEU is, I do want to know a little bit more of like how this kind of fits in overall in the continuity of the greater universe. Because
sell us on your pitch, dude. Sell us on your pitch, Adam. What do you think is going to happen in this movie? Adam? Come on.
You got a pitch?
I mean, I would hope that in the third Shazam film, or maybe a sequel to Black Adam, that we see those two characters face off. But I don't think it's outside of the realm of possibility that we could maybe see a Superman cameo at the end of the movie in a post-credit scene, or if this gets a sequel, or if Man of Steel gets a sequel, that we could see Henry Cavill and Dwayne Johnson face off against each other. And I only say that because I know the two guys share the same manager, and they had a meeting a few years back about potential futures of what could happen. And maybe this is kind of an in to bring back Henry Cavill as Superman, which would be cool to see some continuation. But yeah, I mean, again, it's always like, what is the overall sort of like continuity? Is there any? Are they that worried about it? Do they care? Is this going to tie into bigger things? Will Black Adam end up being, he's kind of being played somewhat of an anti-hero in this story? At the end of it, will he end up going more villainous? Will he end up going more hero? Will he stay kind of in the middle? What does that mean for him in the greater universe and the role that he may occupy if there is a crossover of more DC characters? That's all kind of like up in the air at this point.
Yeah. I think he's being played as a straight up villain, given that he said that line, I kill people, like straight up to a superhero's face, right?
Yeah.
It's really interesting to think about, and this just, it goes into a discussion I previously had about Top Gun, where like an actor like Tom Cruise plays Tom Cruise just in different scenarios. Like Mission Impossible, he's Tom Cruise in that scenario. Top Gun, he's Tom Cruise fighting in a fighter jet, right? And now I feel like The Rock is the only other person who kind of does that, but we haven't seen a person like Tom Cruise or The Rock really take on like a huge villainous role like this, which is really interesting to think about, like the actor and their public persona and what they're trying to portray. Because The Rock has always been very kid friendly, very much like we stay hungry, we devour, and all this super motivational, like all that stuff, right? He's always trying to be like the hierarchy of power. Right, exactly. And so it's really interesting, and I like it, the fact that he took on the villain role. I was really bummed that he didn't take on Shazam, because his character is always like the good guy, the winner, the champion, the nice guy. But now he's straight up saying that he's going to murder people, which I think is pretty rad, which I think is probably what interests me the most, not because of the murder, but because there had to be something in this character where The Rock was like, no, I need to do this. Like, or I really want to do this for my career. And I've generally liked everything that The Rock has been in.
I think you're absolutely spot on, Augustine. And I feel like going back a few years, it's also interesting because like Tom Cruise did try the villainous route, and I feel like audiences maybe just didn't accept it. How audiences responded, and I'm talking about the movie Collateral, which is a really good movie. And Tom Cruise,
fucking amazing.
And Tom Cruise is like straight menacing in that film. But it's interesting that he wasn't then in his career going after those roles or being offered those roles after that film. And to go back to Black Adam, I think that in a lot of ways, because this character exists in a superhero universe where we sort of know what the rules are going to be. We're never going to see something in the DCEU that's like extremely for adults. It's basically all for teenagers. It's basically all PG-13. We'll see language and violence, but we're never going to see like a content subject matter because it's DC Comics and we know what DC Comics are. The same with Marvel and so on. But I think that the Black Adam character is maybe closest to like The Rock when he was a heel in wrestling than a lot of his movie roles. And I feel where it's like he's charismatic, but we still like cheering on other people to beat him up, but he's still so powerful. We're in awe of his charisma and his power. So I think this is like a safe way for The Rock to do that while still being effectively a good guy in the league. He's playing a heel in a wrestling style universe where now he's not the face, but eventually he's going to fight babyface Shazam, Zachary Levi. And then maybe afterwards he'll turn and become more of a good guy character, just like Black Adam has kind of done in the comics. So like, yes, he's saying that he's killing people, but this is still going to be a PG-13 movie. This is not The Boys. And that's okay. And that's good because it's DC Comics. It's the DC universe. So it shouldn't be The Boys. And I feel like for me, the thing that is really exciting, and it's really interesting because the three of us on our channel, check out our Patreon, literally just started watching The Boys for the first time. And that is an adult rated R take on all of this stuff. But this, like just the moment where Black Adam is flying next to the jets and he just goes to this plane and just destroys it. And then the guy punches out so you know he lives. But it felt like, dang, that was kind of like, that was like fun to see. Like it was this fun, badass action moment, but everything's okay. The pilot's going to be alive. You know, Black Adam is not going to go after innocents. He's very much like a Venom type character. He goes after, you know, what he deems are bad guys. And sometimes it's fun to see that and root for that. And it reminded me of like the first Iron Man movie, which, by the way, Dwayne Johnson being cast as Black Adam is older than the first Iron Man movie. When Iron Man's fighting those jets and he's the underdog, but here Black Adam is not the underdog. And it's like so it's going to be like a fun thing to witness somebody who not only has the powers of Superman acting in this way, but literally exists in a universe with the actual Superman. What does that mean, you know, going forward? So I like that just the vibe of this. I feel like Dwayne Johnson is really leaning into what he knows from like his wrestling persona,
from his wrestling career.
Right. We're going to have a good time, you know, like sympathizing with him, but then like watching this movie and being like,
booing him at the same time.
Don't do it, Black Adam. Don't kill that guy. Oh, he killed that guy. But it was pretty funny. Like, this is pretty cool and fun. And by the end, like you guys are saying, he'll either declare I'm more of a hero than previously thought, or he'll go, F it, I'm the bad guy. Bring on the good guys.
I'm the Thanos, baby.
I'm the Thanos. And like Adam said, either we're going to see a Shazam appearance, which I think is pretty likely, or a Henry Cavill Superman appearance, because
the only man who can stop him.
Or what if Shazam and Superman team up to take him down?
Yes, exactly.
Then here's the tricky thing is that, like, unless they come out saying, hey, the next Shazam movie is absolutely not a sequel but a prequel to this, and that like maybe that's happening at the same time that this is happening, so that both of those can kind of then connect, and the future project that hasn't been announced yet is going to be Shazam and Superman team up to fight Black Adam. Yes, I'm all for that. If they don't do that, I'm going to be wishing that Shazam 2 was that. So that's the tricky thing about bringing in Superman. Don't promise something you can't deliver. Don't do that, Warner Brothers.
Well,
I know
don't put a little trick or treat in there.
Look what they're kind of doing, though. It's very ballsy to show Hawkman, to show Dr. Fate, to show what is the other guy's name? The Adam? Is it the Adam
Smasher?
Or Adam Smasher?
Adam Smasher,
like these three characters are not like characters just to kind of like brush off. Those are pretty big characters, and so I think they're kind of saying, hey, get ready for big cameos. What if like we have no introduction to the rest of these characters? It's just when Black Adam is really going to town, the superhero shows up and he just like knocks them all out, you know, like they're gone. They're gone. Multiverse Madness style, you know.
It could be wild. I have a feeling that they're not going to put Pierce Brosnan in this movie to waste him in that way, because it's Pierce Brosnan. Like he you know, and I can't wait to see how his Dr. Fate is going to be different than Doctor Strange, which is like his Marvel counterpart. So like visually we saw him very briefly, but like what's his deal? What's his motivation? What are his powers? What, you know, that's going to be cool. But you might be right, Augustine. We might get Hawkman for a bit and then he gets killed, or Adam Smasher for a bit and then he gets killed, or even Dr. Fate for a bit and then he gets killed.
Look at Adam. Adam's like, no.
But you know, it feels as though, like, just from the fan perspective, it feels as though the one thing Warner Brothers wants more than anything out of these movies is to have like a living, breathing, interconnected superhero universe that they can continue to point to and be like, look, we got characters. These characters are still in play. And we'll use them because what else do they got right now? We just found out a few days ago that like maybe they're trying to focus on Superman again, but maybe Henry Cavill is too old. And I'm like, what? And so they're putting all their eggs in the Ezra Miller as the Flash basket. Y'all, that's not going to work out. That's news today. Come on. So what is Warner Brothers going to do? If I were them, I'd be like, keep every fucking character in this movie alive by the end of this movie. They're coming back.
Go reshoot it if you have to right now.
Go reshoot it. Make them be alive. They're coming back. Let's plug them in everything, you know.
Yeah, I agree.
But it looks fun. And I'm really into the just the vibe of it.
Guys, okay, one more question for both of you. Worth the 15-year wait? Worth the 15-year wait?
That's a good question.
As old as our YouTube career, worth the 15-year wait?
There was an announcement when we were like 20. So this is a long time. But I think that'll be easier question to answer, I think, after we see it in October. And I think what's also kind of cool is because of all the scheduling changes, we're going to have this, and then right after that, in December, we're going to have Shazam. So it'll be fun to see how these movies play back to back. If maybe that had some influence of like, oh, maybe this is a good opportunity to maybe like tease these two characters if they're going to have theatrical releases so close to each other. Who knows? But I think that will be a fun indicator also to kind of, it's almost like a double feature in some ways to see how these two things play back to back and whether or not they feel like, oh, these could totally coexist in the same universe. So they totally feel like they coexist in the same universe. And the way that The Rock plays Black Adam and the way Zachary Levi and Asher Angel play Billy Batson and Shazam, would that work together? I think that will really help give people a better understanding of how that would work. So let us know what you thought about this first trailer for Black Adam. What are some of your thoughts and theories? Do you think that we will see some cameos? Do you think there's a possibility of Superman Henry Cavill coming back in a post-credit scene? Let us know all of your thoughts in the comments below. Subscribe if you haven't already. Check out all the other reactions. Check out our Patreon as well. Everything linked down in the description below. We'll see you guys in the next reaction. Bye.
Power!